Hi, I'm Jimmy Moots, Regional Recreational Safety Coordinator for the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources. We're here today in Spotsylvania County, right at the end of winter, but spring is just around the corner. All of nature is beginning to awaken from winter slumber, and that means that it's almost time for spring gobbler season. Virginia offers some of the best early turkey hunting in the Eastern Division. We offer over 2 million acres of public hunting lands for you and me. We have a generous 5-week season and a 3-bird limit. So let's talk a little bit about spring gobbler season today. My friend and fellow educator, Ryan Boston, is going to share with us.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan Boston, and I'm a volunteer hunter ed instructor for the state of Virginia. We're here this morning talking to you all about spring gobbler season and why we should all be excited. So why should we be excited about spring gobbler season? Well, first of all, the temperatures are starting to heat up, so we get to go outside and enjoy ourselves without freezing. Second of all, it is almost spring gobbler season. It's the mating season for the Virginia wild turkey, and there's a couple ways that this is a little bit different from the other game that we pursue. The main reason is that you can really communicate back and forth with these birds. They're very vocal during their mating season, and so you can get out there with your calls and try to prove to them that you're a turkey. Virginia spring gobbler season. For most new hunters, you'd like to know what you need. Equipment-wise, class-wise, well, first and foremost, you need to complete the mandatory hunter's education program and buy the necessary licenses. On to the equipment, number one is camo clothing. Birds have the best eyes in nature, so it's imperative that we blend in. Second, you're going to want a seat. Most gobbler hunting is done from the ground, so you want something to give you a little bit of comfort while you're sitting on the ground. You can buy a separate seat here, or you can buy a turkey vest, which most of them come with a flip-down seat that you can flip down once you get to the location where you want to try to pursue that bird from. Most people hunt spring gobblers with shotguns. This is a great example of a single shot shotgun. It's light to carry if you're pursuing those gobblers all around the property, and you're gonna want shells to go with it. Everybody during spring gobbler uses calls. There's different types of calls, whether it's a box call, or whether you might choose to use a slate call. They also have diaphragm calls that are for more experienced turkey hunters, but you're gonna wanna have a call to try to get those birds to come into you. Along with the calls, many hunters choose to use decoys. It gives that turkey something to see to help you trick him into believing that you are a turkey. All right, we've got our equipment, we've got our licenses, and we've done our necessary hunter's ed class. Now, how are we gonna get after those turkeys? First and foremost, of the most important is locating a bird. We have to know where turkeys like to be. So we want to look for mass-bearing hardwoods such as oak trees and oak flats. Turkeys prefer to roost in mature pine thickets. And we also want to target those field edges where the terrain might change. As we know, all game species are drawn to those areas. If we can find where the oaks, pines, and a field come together, then that's where you want to be at. That's exactly where you want to be. And next, once we find those locations, we're going to look for evidence or sign. Is there scratching in the leaves where they've been trying to pull up food? Are there tracks in the mud or in the snow, depending on what weather you've had recently? We can look for scats and droppings, dust bowls, and also dropped feathers. These are all sure signs that turkeys have actually been in the area that we're at very recently. So now that we've located where the turkeys want to be, how are we going to hunt them? Some people choose to put them to roost the evening before, where if you can locate them close to dark, then you know they're going to be in that area the next morning. You can utilize a blind, whether it be a pop-up or some mesh material that you can just spread around where you want to be. You can still hunt, such as I'm doing now, sitting against a tree, nice and still, making calls, trying to work that tom into you. You can also call, spot, and stalk, where you give out a couple yelps. When that tom fires back, you maneuver to another position to try to close the deal. But you need to be cautious when you're calling, spotting, and stalking that your tom is not actually another hunter. There's a new popular turkey fad called reaping, where you actually take a decoy and put it in front of you and sneak across the field trying to close the distance between you and the tom. That's a tactic that we as hunter safety instructors do not suggest for you to use. It's mainly based on safety. We have a lot of hunting incidents that happen to people that are reaping where somebody thinks that they may be shooting at a live bird and the hunter is stationed right behind that decoy. Also notice the orange ribbon above my head. You may choose not to wear it on your clothing as you might not want the turkey looking at you, but there's a necessary safety process that we always want to use to let another hunter know that we're in the area. The number one focus of any hunt should be safety. We always want to make sure that we can get back to our friends and loved ones safely when the hunt is over. So we need to follow the ABCs of safe hunting. Always treat every firearm as if it were loaded. Be sure of your target and what's beyond that target, and always control your muzzle and have it pointed in a safe direction. We always want to have a hunt plan, and we want to hunt that plan. We want to let somebody know where we're going to be, when we're going to be there, and what time we're expecting to be back from that hunt. Before we leave for our hunt, we want to go through our pre-hunt checklist. We want to have our license, a game law digest for the hunting regs, especially during spring gobbler, so we know whether we can hunt the afternoon or not. We want to have a pack with water, maps, GPS, a phone, and our Blaze Orange to make sure we're being safe. We need permission slips or permits if we choose to hunt private land. And last but not least, we need our firearm and ammo so we can close the deal.
Remember folks, safety is no accident. Always wear Blaze Orange to and from your hunt site. If possible, use a Blaze Orange tree strap. After making a successful harvest, use your Blaze Orange vest or bag your harvest in a Blaze Orange bag to take that animal out of the woods. Always be sure of your target and what's beyond. For more information about hunting spring gobbler season, join us at virginiawildlife.gov.
Look forward to seeing you out there this spring chasing these funny times around. Let's be safe, have some successful hunts, but more than all, let's make some great memories.